You guys have any questions? I know you never have questions.
I know. Do you mind, this morning you had seemed like you spent a lot of time with your national security team at the White House. Are there any updates on Ukraine, Mr. President?
No updates except that there's been no change in the posture of the Russian forces. There have, and now they're, as you know, they're along the entire Belarus border. And I made it clear to early on to President Putin that if he were to move into Ukraine, that there'd be severe consequences, including significant economic sanctions, as well as I'd feel obliged to beef up our presence, NATO's presence on the Eastern Front, Poland, Romania, etc. And but I see, I was watching one of you on television pointing out the fact that, and I think you got it right, whoever it was, I'm embarrassed, I don't remember who, saying that this is all Putin. I don't think even his people know for certain what he's going to do.
Would you ever see yourself personally sanctioning him if he did invade Ukraine?
Yes,
You would?
I would see that.
What would it take to trigger the deployment of the 8,500 troops that you've put on high alert? And what's your message to those forces that are on high alert?
Those forces in high alert they're part of a NATO operation, not a sole U.S. operation, and I've made it clear to President Putin that we have a sacred obligation, Article 5 obligation to our NATO allies, and that if in fact he continued to build up and/or was to move, we would be reinforcing those troops. And I've spoken with every one of our NATO allies in person, not person, virtually, and we're all on the same page. We've got to make it clear that that there's no reason for anyone, any member of NATO, to worry whether or not NATO would come to their defense.
And Mr. President, what about? May I ask you about when you'll make a decision about deploying those troops? What will lead to that?
What would lead to that is what's going to happen, what Putin does or doesn't do. And I may be moving some of those troops in the nearer term, just because it takes time. And again, it's not provocative. It's just exactly what I said. Is that as long as we have to reassure. If you notice, you don't see a lot of concern in terms of their security and of our NATO allies in Western Europe, but in Eastern Europe, there's reason for concern. They're along the Russian border, there's the Belarus border, so everyone from Poland on has reason to be concerned about what would happen and what spillover effects could occur. We have no intention of putting American forces, our NATO forces, in Ukraine. But as I said, there are going to be serious economic consequences if he moves.
Can you tell me whether you think, sir, that the risk of an invasion is increasing or decreasing or steady just as it has been these recent days?
You know, I'll be completely honest with you. It's a little bit like reading tea leaves. Ordinarily, if we're a different leader, the fact that he continues to build forces along Ukraine's border from Belarus all the way around, you'd say, well, that means that he is looking like he's going to do something. But then you look at what his past behavior is and what everyone is saying, and his team, as well as everyone else, as to what is likely to happen. It all comes down to his decision. Look, let me conclude by saying there will be enormous consequences if he were to go in and invade, as he could, the entire country, or a lot less than that as well, for Russia, not only in terms of economic consequences and political consequences, but it will be enormous consequences worldwide. This would be the largest, if he were to move in with all those forces, it would be the largest invasion since World War II. It would change the world.
Thank you guys. Thanks guys. Let's go. Thank you guys. Let's go. Thank you guys. You guys, come on. Let's go. Thank you.
There is not going to be any American forces moving into Ukraine.
When we were
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.